What's up, you beautiful beasts? Apparently, today is Wacky Hair Day, and I just got the memo. But in any case, in this video, we're going to talk about why you can be talking to people all day and still feel lonely. And then I'm going to give you 7 practical connection reps to rebuild that muscle in a way that actually feels doable. But first, I want to start with a question that might feel a little too accurate. Have you ever had a day where you are technically talking to people all day, texting, commenting, responding, maybe even having a whole conversation like it's 2009, and then you get to the end of the day and you still kind of feel empty, like socially full but emotionally underfed? If you feel lonely, but the idea of socializing sounds exhausting, you're not broken. You're not bad at friendship. You're probably just out of reps. A lot of people think that connection should feel natural and easy if you're doing it correctly. But connection is actually a skill. It's a muscle. And if it's been a while, that muscle gets deconditioned. Not because you failed, but because you're a human living in a loud world. So, we're not going to do an entire personality overhaul today. We're just going to do small reps that rebuild connection without burning you out. Let's get into it.
Disclaimer. Connect to the Beast isn't therapy or a substitute for trauma work with a licensed mental health professional. This is a space to practice connection, not comparison. I'm an NASM certified personal trainer, nutritionist, and master neurotransformational results coach, and I believe relationships, both with other people and with yourself, are one of the best medicines we have. Maybe you're rebuilding trust, finding your voice, or figuring out how to feel safe around others again. Whatever it looks like for you, you are not doing it alone here. You were never meant to survive in isolation. You were meant to be seen, heard, and held, always on your terms.
Connect the Beast is health. Okay, I want to make this really clear. Connection is not fluff, it's health. When you feel safe with people, your nervous system settles. When you feel seen, your stress is easier to hold. And when you feel supported, hard things feel a little less impossible. Connection isn't just a nice bonus, it's part of how we regulate, cope, and stay resilient. So before we do anything practical, I want you to check in with yourself. If you had to describe your social battery lately in one word, would it be drained, tender, avoidant, overstimulated, irritable, peace-seeking, peopled out, hermit mode, feral, crispy, do not contact? And while you're listening to this video, I want you to notice something else too. I want you to notice, without judging, what happens in your body when certain suggestions come up. Maybe one idea feels comforting, and maybe the other makes your chest tighten. Maybe your brain immediately goes, absolutely not, or that's stupid, because that reaction is information. And if you notice yourself judging your reaction, notice that too. Because honestly, the awareness is more important than perfectly doing the reps. Sometimes the most important part is simply noticing what's happening inside of you at all, because a lot of us are reacting, withdrawing, over-explaining, avoiding, people-pleasing, or shutting down so automatically that we don't even realize we're doing it. That awareness is where the reframe begins. The reframe, social fitness. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Connection is not a personality trait. It's a practice. Think about strength training. If you don't use certain muscles for a while and then you suddenly try to lift heavy, your body doesn't exactly feel welcoming about it. It feels confused, offended, and a little bit dramatic. Connection works the same way. If you've been isolated, burned out, overstimulated, or living in survival mode for a long time, socializing can feel like work, even if you genuinely love people. So again, I'm not gonna give you a big social makeover. I'm gonna give you tiny connection reps, small, repeatable actions that rebuild your social fitness without overwhelming your nervous system. You don't have to do all of them. You're not trying to win the friendship Olympics. You're just trying to rebuild the muscle. And just like physical training, your reaction itself tells you something. If one of these reps feels weirdly emotional, exhausting, vulnerable, resistant, embarrassing, exciting, or even kind of annoying, pause and get curious about that instead of immediately trying to fix it. Because your nervous system has a history, your reactions have context, and awareness is where real change starts. Also, quick note for my introverts, my neurospicy friends, and anyone whose social battery drains faster than their phone at 2%. This is not a video telling you to become an extrovert. This is not me telling you to start hosting dinners and joining 5 group chats and doing small talk at brunch like it's your hobby. Introversion is not a problem to fix. It's just a nervous system preference. What we're doing here is building connection that is small, doable, and sustainable, whether you're introverted, extroverted, or just currently peopled out, like my hot husband. Smaller reps, more intention, less performance. You get to choose the connection that feels safe and sustainable, not connection that leaves you needing 3 business days and a blanket fort to recover. Funny. Warm-up reps. Okay, the first warm-up rep is the 20-second text. It's simple and it counts. Send a message that's basically a quick thinking of you check-in. I like to call these give a shit texts. No perfect paragraph, no big life update, no pressure to be profound, just a small signal that says, you matter to me. The second warm-up rep is a short voice note. Not because you're trying to be fancy, but because voice carries warmth and it feels like presence. Keep it under 45 seconds. It can be as simple as saying you wanted to send a quick note, that typing felt weirdly formal and that there's no pressure to respond fast and that you're hoping they're doing well. And, hear me out, if voice notes are not your thing, you can do the same rep with a quick Marco Polo. Same warmth, same connection, just in video form. No raccoon makeup required. This is a rep, not a performance. And, if any version of that makes you nervous, totally normal. Nervous and brave can exist at the same time. If your brain instantly starts scripting worst case scenarios like, they probably won't want to hear from me, or this is awkward, or I sound stupid, just notice it. Not everything your nervous system says is a fact. Sometimes it's just old protection trying to keep you safe. Deepen the moment reps. Okay, now we get to move into the reps that actually deepen the connection. This is where it stops feeling like polite check-ins and starts feeling like real closeness. Okay, rep 3 is asking one real follow-up question. A lot of conversations stay on the surface and we don't even realize that it's happening. We do the quick, how are you? Good. Busy. Same. And then we both walk away still feeling kind of alone. So instead, ask a question that opens the door without kicking it down. What's felt heavy lately? What's been genuinely good this week? What do you need from me right now? Comfort, problem solving, or just someone to listen? And that last one is a relationship saver because it stops you from accidentally giving a TED Talk when somebody just needed a human. Okay, rep 4 is a low pressure invite. This is for anyone who thinks connection has to be a whole production with planning, parking, outfits, and a calendar negotiation that makes you want to throw your phone into the ocean. Low pressure invites sound like normal life. You want to go on a 20-minute walk this week? Hey, I'm grabbing coffee, you want to join? I have errands to run, you want to come with me so I don't wander around Target like a ghost? Connection doesn't need to be glamorous, it needs to be doable. And if a low pressure invite makes your stomach clench a little bit, that matters. A lot of us are carrying old stories around rejection, being too much or not enough, being unwanted, being ignored, or feeling emotionally unsafe with people. So, if your body reacts strongly to something that looks small, please don't mock yourself for that. Your nervous system is telling the truth about what it's lived through. Community reps. Now we zoom out because community is not just your closest friends. It's the wider net of humans around you that makes life feel less isolating. Rep 5 is one micro act of community. You hold the door, you say thank you with eye contact. You leave a kind comment that is specific instead of just a heart. You message someone after they share something vulnerable and say, I saw that and I'm with you. These moments are small, but your nervous system notices, your brain notices, and this is how belonging gets rebuilt. And sometimes belonging gets rebuilt quietly, not through giant life-changing moments, but through tiny moments where your body slowly learns, oh, maybe connection is safe enough to try again. I'm working on that. Okay, rep 6 is a tiny ritual. This is the secret weapon because rituals remove decision fatigue. You don't have to reinvent connection every week, you just create one repeatable touch point that fits your real life. Maybe it's a weekly meme swap with one person. Maybe it's a Sunday check-in text. Maybe it's a walk call every Tuesday. Maybe it's a monthly coffee date that's on the calendar like a dentist appointment, except less traumatizing. The repair rep. Now we get to the brave one, the repair rep. This is for when you have drifted from someone, like him, and you don't know how to re-enter without it feeling awkward. The repair rep is not a dramatic apology essay and it's not a full life update. It's a simple, honest reach back. Keep it short and human. You acknowledge that you've been quiet. You name that life got loud. You let them know that you miss them, and you remove the pressure from the moment by making it clear that they don't have to respond quickly. That is repair. Not perfection, repair. And honestly, this rep alone can bring up a lot. You might notice panic, grief, shame, anger, hope, relief, a weird urge to immediately close this video and pretend none of this exists. Again, notice that, because the goal here isn't to become a perfectly healed robot with flawless social skills. The goal is learning how to stay connected to yourself while practicing connection with other people. And here is the important part. If they respond, amazing. If they don't, amazing. You still did something courageous. You still practiced connection and you still rebuilt your own muscle. That matters, even if the outcome isn't immediate. The rep challenge. All right, here's your challenge for the week. 3 reps. Not all 7, 3. Pick the easiest 3 first because momentum beats overthinking every single time. And if you're introverted, your 3 reps can be extra tiny on purpose. A message instead of a hangout, a walk instead of a party, 1 person instead of a whole group. Quiet connection still counts. You're not behind. You are choosing a version of connection that your nervous system can actually keep. Your 3 reps might be the 20-second text, a voice note, and a low-pressure invite. Or it might be 1 real follow-up question, 1 micro act of community, and setting up a tiny ritual. You get to choose based on what your nervous system can handle, not what looks impressive. Also, as you choose your 3 reps, pay close attention to the difference between what feels gently uncomfortable versus what feels completely overwhelming. Growth sometimes feels vulnerable, but survival mode panic is different. You don't have to bulldoze your nervous system to heal. The wrap-up section. All right, let's wrap it up. If this video made you feel seen, send it to someone who might need it too. And yeah, sending it counts. That's a connection rep in real time. Also, tell me in the comments which rep feels most doable this week. The 20-second text, the follow-up question, the low-pressure invite, the tiny ritual, the micro-active community, the voice note or Marco Polo, or the repair rep. And if this video brought stuff up for you, notice that before you rush past it. Notice what felt easy, what made you tense up, and what your brain immediately tried to avoid or judge. Those reactions usually point to patterns, needs, fears, or beliefs that you might not even realize you're carrying. And honestly, those observations are probably more important than the tips themselves. Remember, you don't need a new personality. You don't need to become an extrovert. You need small, repeatable reps. That's how we connect the beast. That's how we keep unveiling the beautiful beast within you.